Congratulations. I rejoice with everyone on the start of a new year, year 2021. 2020 was a very harsh but remarkable year. With you all our partners in growth, we triumph over the hurdles that later all our paths. On behalf of the board, I say thank you to all our stakeholders that help us in attaining new heights. I particularly appreciate the Governor of Lagos State, Mr. Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu, a passionate, committed, and transformational leader. Thank you for the giant leaps we made, especially through a Co-Excel initiative. I equally thank our amiable and pleasant Deputy Governor, Dr. Obafemi Kadri Hamsat, for his immense support for all the activities of the board. I thank the Honorable Commissioner of Education, Mrs. Folashade Adefisayo, for her remarkable leadership role in the sector. To the Executive Secretary, Dr. Hamid Boboyi, and management staff of UBEC, ministries, departments, and agencies in the state that partner with us to ensure the smooth running of the basic education sector, I say thank you. To our corporate friends who stood by us and the people of Lagos State despite the harsh economic realities, I express our heartfelt gratitude. I'm particularly pleased with all our private sector partners in the recently launched Project Zero initiative. I cannot forget our wonderful teachers and parents who ensure that our children continue to learn even when our schools were shut. My sincere appreciation to the entire management and staff of LASUBEB and the education family for their hard work and commitment all year round. Let us get back to work with a renewed energy. Together we can achieve more. I wish everyone a happy, healthy, and prosperous 2021. Ìgbéga ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó, àjùmọ̀ṣe ni o.
Hello pupils, you are welcome to another wonderful edition of your favorite program, The Classroom in Your Home, a program organized by the Lagos State Government and packaged by the Lagos State Universal Basic Education Board, LASUBEB. The aim is to ensure that you're academically engaged in addition to what you're learning in school or even while you're at home. I am Auntie Fumi, your English Studies teacher. And as usual, I have with me the wonderful teachers.
Hello children, I am your mathematics teacher, Uncle Agbaje, but you know me as the mathematician.
Uncle Popo is here as usual, your general studies teacher.
And we also have our sign language interpreter, Uncle Wale, in the house. Together, we are bringing the classroom into your home. Please stay tuned. Pupils, you're welcome to Auntie Fumi's class. In our English Studies lesson today, we will look at special use of preposition. Yes, our topic once again is special use of preposition. Before we go into our learning objective for today, I want to appreciate as many of you that submitted your homework, writing vote of thanks, how to give vote of thanks. I want to say good job you, and I want to say you are awesome totally. Now to the learning objective for this lesson. Don't forget I said we're going to look at special use of prepositions. So by the end of today's lesson, you should be able to list some words with special prepositions. Not only that, you should also be able to use some prepositions appropriately, and you should be able to use certain words with special prepositions correctly in sentences. So are you ready for today's lesson? Your writing materials ready? Okay. Then let's begin. We're going to look at preposition in and at. In and at. I-N and A-T. Both at and in can be used with the names of cities, towns, and villages. Both at and in can be used with the names of cities, towns, and villages. We use in when we are talking about the place as an area. When you want to refer to a place as an area, you use the preposition in, in. Why you use at when you see it as a point, when you see that place as a point, or when you see the location as a point. Look at this example. My sister lives in Lagos. My sister lives in Lagos. In here is used to depict Lagos as an area. My sister lives in Lagos. Here is another example. Our bus stopped at Sheraton. Sheraton is a point. Our bus stopped at Sheraton on the way to Maryland. Our bus stopped at Sheraton on the way to Maryland. At Sheraton here now is a point, so we use at. While Lagos is an area, and we say my sister lives in Lagos. Are we together? We use at to talk about group activities, shops, and workplaces. That is another use of the preposition at, at. We use at to talk about group activities and shops or workplaces. Here are examples. I first met him at a party. I first met him at a party, not in a party, because now we are referring to a place, or shop, or workplace, or a location. That is at a party, a location. I first met him at a party. There weren't many people at the meeting. There weren't many people at the meeting. I saw him at the baker's shop. Now, talking about the preposition in, we use it with the names of streets and at when we give the house number. We're talking about another use of in and at. We use in with the names of streets and at when we give the house number. Here's an example. He lives in Dosumu Street. He lives in Dosumu Street. Now talking about at, he lives at 128 Dosumu Street. He lives at 128 Dosumu Street. That is talking about using in with names of streets and using at when we give the house number. Are we together? Good job, you. Talking about the preposition in. We also use in before a noun to denote a period of time. We use in before a noun to denote a period of time. And it simply means at the end of. It simply means at the end of. While within means before the end of. In means at the end of, while within means before the end of. Let me give you examples. I shall return in an hour. I shall return in an hour. It means that I shall return at the end of 1 hour. I shall return in an hour means I shall return at the end of 1 hour. But if I say I shall return within an hour, it means I shall return before the end of 1 hour. Are we together? Okay, let's move on. Now, till and until. Both till and until are used for time. We use till, T-I-L-L, and until, U-N-T-I-L, to depict, or we use them for time. Look at these examples. We waited till 12 o'clock. We waited until 12 o'clock. He slept till 11 a.m. He slept until 11 a.m. Both are used for time. There are certain words that are also used with special prepositions. We have some words that are used with special prepositions. And examples are agree with somebody, agree with, agree to, you agree to something, you agree with somebody, you agree to something. Other words are aim at, similar to, ashamed of, comment on, complain of. We've been able to identify special prepositions. Special prepositions. Some words that are used with special prepositions. So it's time to see how attentive we have been in the course of the lesson. It's activity time. Complete the following sentences with correct prepositions selected from the following. You're going to use the preposition of, O-F-F, from, on, for, to, of, up, with, about. You're going to use those prepositions to complete these sentences. Kunle was blamed dash the accident. We are equal dash the task. He quarreled dash the driver. The boy complained dash fever. And she has filled the pot dash water. Just write the appropriate prepositions and I will be back to do the correction with you. You have 30 seconds to do that. Your pens down. You are to supply just 5 prepositions. So, by now you should have finished giving me the answer to the sentences. So let's do the correction together. Kunle was blamed for the accident. Did you write for? Then you're correct. Kunle was blamed for the accident. The appropriate preposition is for. We are equal to the task. We are equal to the task. 2 is the answer. Did you get that too? I trust you. Number 3, he quarreled with the driver. He quarreled with the driver. Number 4, the boy complained of fever. The boy complained of fever. And the last one, she has filled the pot with water. 5 out of 5. Did you get all? Oh. Then you deserve to be celebrated with a chair. Good job, you. Now to your homework. Homework time. For your homework, you are to complete the following sentences with correct prepositions. You are to complete the following sentences with correct prepositions. I'm going to give you 20 seconds to capture the assignment, and I'll come back for the next segment. Okay. I believe you have all captured the assignment. Make sure you do your assignment, and when you're submitting, please indicate your name, your school, your class, and your local government education authority. That is the only way by which we will be able to identify you and reward you accordingly. So, we've come to the end of today's lesson, and we are moving to the next segment. And what's that? That is, can you pronounce it? Can you pronounce it? So, we have 3 words as usual to be pronounced correctly. Look at the first word. How do you pronounce it? Have you been calling this word affidavit? Has that been your pronunciation? It is incorrect. This word is pronounced as affidavit. Yes. Affidavit, not affidavit. It is affidavit. And it means a written statement confirmed by oath or affirmation for use as evidence in court. So the correct pronunciation is what? Affidavit. Yes, that's it. The second word, B-A-L-L-E-T. What's the correct pronunciation? The word is not pronounced as ballet. It is ballet. Yes, that is the pronunciation, ballet. And it is an artistic dance. It is an artistic dance form performed to music using precise and highly formalized set step and gestures. A lot of you must have done the ballet dance at one time or the other. It is not ballet, it is ballet. And lastly, we have B-O-M-B. B-O-M-B. A lot of you pronounce the word as bomb. No, it is incorrect. It is pronounced as bum. Yeah, pronounce it with me. Bum, yes, not bomb. The last B is always silent. So it is pronounced as bum. And it is a weapon that explodes and is used to kill or hurt people or to damage buildings. Did you enjoy the lesson? You've been able to pronounce 3 additional words correctly. Well done. So that's it for today. We have come to the end of the English Studies lesson for today. I hope we had fun learning special prepositions in English language, and we've been able to pronounce 3 words. Yes, affidavit, ballet, and bum. So it is time to hand you over to the mathematician, Uncle Agbaje, for another beautifully packaged mathematics lesson. But don't forget, Auntie Fumi is always proud of you. Bye.
Hello children, you are welcome to this segment of the program, The Classroom in Your Home. It is mathematics time. That means it is time to have some fun. I am Uncle Agbaje. What do we have in mathematics today? Well, your guess is as good as mine. We will continue our work on area of circles. Do you remember that we were able to show that the area of a circle is gotten by multiplying the pi times the radius, then by the radius again. Today we will extend on that knowledge. But first, let us look at the correction to the homework that was given to you. I mean, that's the only way we can check whether you really are with us. You were asked to find the areas of these circles. And don't forget that with the area, the only thing you really need is the radius. And where you don't have the radius, you have to first get the radius. So we will begin with the one that has radius. The radius here is 28 centimeters. And so to find the area, we multiply the pi, which of course is what? Do you remember the value of the pi? Of course, is 22/7 or 3/1/7 or 3.14. The radius here is 28, so we're doing pi, which is 22/7, radius, which is 28 centimeters. We just make it 28 centimeters over 1, and then another radius. Then we multiply everything together, and then we can simplify. Okay, so now we see that 7 goes here 1 time, and 7 goes here 4 times. Then we have 1s in the denominator, and that is trivial. And that means that we can multiply all that we have in the numerator. So we have 22 times 4 times 28. And of course, when you did this, I'm sure that you got 2,464. I'm sure you worked this out. Did you get it right? Excellent job, you, my friend. Now let's check out that other one that had the diameter. We don't need the diameter to find the area of a circle. What we really need is the radius. And so remember that the radius is half of the diameter. So we have to take half of this. That means we have to divide this by 2. So I can just divide the 21 by 2 and leave it like this so that it will be easy for me to work with. But if you had done your own and you had gotten 10.5 or 10.5, it's no problem. Now we come back to the area. The area is pi times the radius times the radius. Now we know the radius. The radius is half the diameter, that is half of 21. So when we do pi times, we have pi is 22 over 7, the radius is 21 divided by 2, and another radius is 21 divided by 2. And so, okay, so 693 divided by 2, and then that is 386 and half. Did you get these two sums correctly? Excellent job, you my friend. But if you did not, no problem. Perhaps you got it wrong with this one. We have enough time to practice with this one today. But on the whole, I still celebrate you with a chair. Now let's check out today's learning objectives. By the end of today's lesson, we should be able to find the areas of circles when we know only the diameter. Much like the second one that we did the other time. Like I said, today we'll have enough time to practice. And then we should be able to find the area of semicircles, and that is half circles. Can you already guess what that formula will look like? Well, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. And finally, we should be able to develop the idea for calculating the area of quadrants, which is 1/4 of a circle. So without wasting much time, let us get started. Now, circle areas with given diameter. When we want to find the area of any circle, remember the area is how much space the circle covers. And so we're able to establish in the previous lessons that we've had that that area can be arrived at by multiplying the pi, which is 22 over 7, by the radius and then by the radius. But when we do not know the radius, then there will be a way to get the radius. So the first thing we need to do is, when we don't know the radius, we have to find the radius. Usually, if you're not given the radius, you'll be given the diameter. And from our previous work, we know that the diameter is half of the radius. And so the radius is, the radius is half of the diameter, not that diameter is half of the radius. The radius is half of the diameter. So when we know the diameter, we simply take half of it. The radius is now 28 centimeters divided by 2. You can decide to solve this and get 14, but I like to leave it like this so that it will be easy for me to work with. So the radius is 28 centimeters divided by 2. Then now we know that the area is going to be gotten by multiplying the pi by the radius. So I just put each number below their variables. The pi is 22 over 7. The radius is 28 centimeters divided by 2. And another radius is 28 centimeters divided by 2. Now it is easy for me to simplify. I just look for what factors can divide the numerators and the denominators. And in this case, 7 can go here 1, 7 can go here 4. And I'm sure that with all these that we have been doing, working with sevens for the pi, you are now able to familiarize yourself with the multiplication table of 7. All right, so 7 goes here 1, 7 goes here 4. Then 2 goes here 1, 2 goes here 2. 2 still goes here 1, 2 still goes here 1. And so now we have ones in the denominator, and then we multiply 22 by 28 to get our final answer. Let's see. So multiplying 22 by 28, well, that should be easy. 22 times 28, can just do like this. 22, 28, then put a diagonal in between each box. 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 8 is 16. 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 8 is 16. 16. All right, so now adding by diagonals, we have 6. 4 plus 1 is 5. 5 plus 6 is 11. We group 1. 1 plus 4 is 5 plus 1. That is 6. And this gives us 0, which we don't need. So we have 616. And so that means that our final answer should be 616 centimeter square. So the principle is the same. Get the radius if you don't have it, then use the formula that we have established in the previous slide. Let's just look at another one. Find the area of this circle. Again, the process is the same. The radius is half of the diameter, but in this case, the diameter is 35. So we have to divide it into 2, and that's 35 over 2. Now the radius will be, the area will be pi times the radius, pi times the radius again. That is 22 over 7 times the radius, which is 35 divided by 2, and then 35 divided by 2. Radius times radius. Now we can simplify. 7 goes here 1, 7 goes here 5. 2 goes here 1, 2 goes here 11. Now nothing can go. 11 times 5 is 55. I will have 55 times 35 in the numerator and then 2 in the denominator. So what I will do is that I will go and quickly multiply 55 by 35. So I have 1925 divided by 2, which of course I have to change to a mixed number. 2 goes here, 1, 2 goes here, 1, 2 goes in 19, 9 times remaining 1, 2 goes in 12, 6 times, and 2 goes in 5, 2 times remaining 1, which I still have to divide by 2. So my final answer should be 96.5 centimeters squares. Let's just check whether we're correct. Of course, did I say 96.5? 962.5 centimeters squares. The process is just the same. It's time for you to take one of your own. You have just 30 seconds, oh, let me say 1 minute, to find the area of this circle. Begin. Alrighty then, I believe that you found that very easily. Let's just check out how it's done. So the radius is still half of the diameter, and that is 42 centimeters divided by 2. Then we do find the area with pi times radius times the radius, and that is 22/7 times 42/2 the radius times another 42/2 the radius. Then we can simplify, and this is where the real job lies, not with remembering the formula. So 2 goes here 1, 2 goes here 11. And 7 goes here 1, 7 goes in 42 6 times. 2 goes here 1, 2 goes here 21 times. So 11 times 6 is 66. Then multiply that by 21. Let's do that quickly. 66 times 21 times 21. So I draw that box quickly. 6621. Put a line between each number. And I put diagonals in there. Now, 6 times 2 is 12. 6 times 1 is 6. 6 times 2 is 12. 6 times 1 is 6. Adding along diagonals, I have 6 here. 2 plus 6 is 8. 1 plus 2 is 3. Then I have 1. That is 1386. And that should be your final answer. Let's see if we are all correct. That is 1386 centimeters squares. I hope you got that correctly. If you did, good job you. But if you did not, no problem, my friend. You will have assignments to practice with. Now let's move on to something a little bit different. Area of semicircles. Do you remember what semicircles are? Well, semicircles are half of circles. And that means that the area of a semicircle will be what? Will be half of the area of a circle. I'll take that again. If a semicircle is half of a circle, then the number of squares that will fill a semicircle will be number of squares that will fill up the whole circle, or half the number of squares that will fill up the whole circle. So the area of the semicircle is half of the area of the full circle. So what do we need to find the area of a full circle? Just the radius. So for the semicircle, we can also get the radius. We just make sure that we find half of the area of the full circle. So let's see an example to start with. Here is a semicircle. The radius is 14 centimeters. Now we need the radius, but when we say pi times r, we will be finding the area of the full circle. To find the area of the semicircle, we will only say the radius is 14 centimeters. The area is now half of the area of the full circle, and that is half of pi times r. So we will not just go with pi times r, we have to take half of it. That is one way. You can go directly like this, or you can decide to find the area of the full circle first. Then you divide your answer into 2. For the semicircle, it's the same answer that we're going to be getting. So let's see. To find this directly, half comes down, half is times, and we have pi. The radius is 14 centimeters. The radius is 14 centimeters. So you have to account for each term. Half of pi radius, a radius. Now, when we get here, our work is quite easy. It's just the normal simplification that we're used to. So that's what we're going to do. Now, 7 goes here 1, 7 goes in 14 2 times. Now 2 goes here 1, 2 goes in 2 1 time. So I have to just multiply 22 by 14. And so doing that quickly, let me do that here. (22 by 14). Now 2 times 1 is 2, 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 1 is 2, 2 times 4 is 8. Now adding along diagonals, we have 8. 2 plus 0 plus 8 is 10. So I write 0. I regroup 1 to the third diagonal. 1 plus 2 is 3. And then we're done. So that's just 308 centimeters. And since we have ones in the denominator, we don't need to multiply that. So let's just check that the answer is 308 centimeters. Yes, that is 308 centimeters squares. Now you will take another one of the same type. This one should be very easy. You are to find the area of the semicircle. Don't worry about it, my friend. You already have the radius, so you don't need to find the radius. But keep in mind that area of the semicircle is half of the area of the full circle. You have 1 minute for this. Begin. Alrighty then, were you able to get to the end? Well, my friend, if you did, good job you. If not, we have to learn to walk very, very fast. So let's see how this is done. We know the radius, it is 21 centimeters. We know the formula for the area of a semicircle. It is half of the area of the full circle, and that is half of pi times radius times radius. So we just bring out all that we know. We know half, we know pi. When we know the radius 21, then we know the radius 21. So that is half times 22 over 7 times 21 times 21. And this is all that we need to simplify. Okay, so from here, there should be no problem. 2 goes here 1, 2 goes in 22 11 times. Then 7 goes here 1, 7 goes here 3. Now 3 times 21, that should give us 63, I think. Of course, that is 63. Then using our shortcut for multiplying numbers by 11, 63 times 11, 6 plus 3 is 9. So we get 693. And that should be our final answer. The area of this semicircle is 693 centimeters squares. Good job you, my friend, if you were able to get it right. If you did not get it right, the homework is coming right. And so summarily, what we have learned today is that to find the area of a circle, we need to find half of the area of a full circle. So the area of a full circle is given by pi times radius times radius. The semicircle will be half of that. And don't forget that all the work that we have been doing on area, from rectangles to squares to trapezoids, parallelograms, is all about counting how many unit squares are in those shapes. So area problems can come in different forms. They can ask you find the area of this, or they can say how many unit squares will be contained in this shape, and that is the same as finding the area. So the homework for today, you are to find the areas of these semicircles. They have radii, so you do not need to worry about dividing the diameter into two. Scan this down, you have 30 seconds, and I'll be right back. Alrighty then, we have come to the end of today's lesson in mathematics. It is time for me to hand you over to Uncle Popo for the general studies lesson. Till I come your way in the next class, remain wonderful mathematicians. Bye bye now.
Hello pupils, you are welcome to General Studies class. I am Uncle Popo. As usual, let's open today's lesson the way we've been doing. Uncle Popo is here.
I am also here.
Great. We are here together.
100% attention.
Excellent. 100% attention is what you have indirectly promised to give me in today's lesson. Our subject for today is social studies. In our last lesson, we talked about telecommunication systems in Nigeria. And here we talked about some devices. We made mention of audio-visual, visual, and audio devices that we use in telecommunication systems. And we talked about radio, fax machine, television, and telephone. Today, we want to go further to talk about telecommunication systems in Nigeria, and our attention will be focused on the GSM telecommunication service providers. And I know some of you do not have your own mobile phone, but we cannot deny the fact that living with adults or living with people around you, you have been seeing them using the mobile phone. And you can even talk more about different telecommunications, GSM telecommunication service providers that we have. Okay, I even want to ask you, can you even mention those GSM telecommunication systems service provider? Let me give you an instance, just like we have MTN. Tell me more. Okay, Globalcom. What again? Nine Mobile, and so on. So let's move on to discuss this in today's lesson. By the end of the lesson, you should be able to list some telecommunication service providers in Nigeria, state reasons for inadequate functioning of telecommunication systems, and mention suggested solutions to problems of telecommunications. Some telecommunication service providers in Nigeria, like we have listed. Let's talk about Airtel. I think, can you see this picture? This is just the symbol for Airtel. This was the first private mobile telecommunication service provider to be registered in Nigeria. Its original name was Econet Wireless, Econet Wireless Nigeria. It has since changed from that to, later it changed from Econet Wireless Nigeria to Vodacom, later to V-Mobile, Celtel, Zain, and now Airtel Nigeria. That is Airtel. Let's look at another one. The next, this is MTN. MTN. I know some of you are saying my mommy is using MTN, my dad is using MTN. Some are using Airtel. So let's talk about MTN. MTN Nigeria Communications Limited is a South Africa-based company with its headquarters located in Johannesburg, that's in South Africa. The company started commercial operations in Nigeria in August 2001. So August 2001, that was when MTN started commercial operation in Nigeria. Another GSM telecommunication service provider is MTN. What's the next service provider you want us to talk about? Okay, let's see. This is Globacom. Most of you do call this Glo. So this is Globacom. Globacom's full corporate name is Global Communications Limited. That's the full corporate name, Global Communications Limited. It was founded in 2003. It is owned by a Nigerian. So this Globacom is owned by a Nigerian. This is Globacom. Next one is Nine Mobile. This is another service provider, Nine Mobile. Formerly, Nine Mobile was known as Etisalat. It is owned by Emerging Marketers Telecommunications Services, that's EMTS. It was given license in Nigeria in January 2007 and commenced operations in 2008. This is Nine Mobile, and this was formerly called Etisalat, but now Nine Mobile. We have talked about GSM service providers, 4 of them today. Now let's look at the reasons for inadequate functioning of telecommunication system. Reasons for inadequate functioning of telecommunication system. What are the reasons? The first one is lack of maintenance. Lack of maintenance, that's one of the problems for causing inadequate functioning of these telecommunication systems in Nigeria. Lack of maintenance, because we have all what they are concerned about is how to make their profits, how to get more customers, but they are not focusing more in maintaining the devices they are using. So lack of maintenance is one of the problems. Next one is vandalization of equipment. Vandalization of equipment. In some areas where we have their devices installed, at times when there is, maybe we have the people around, or there is disagreement, or there is riot somewhere, people at times go there to vandalize those equipments, and it will cause a problem for proper functioning of the telecommunication systems. That's another one. Next is inadequate electricity, that is epileptic power supply. All these devices require electricity to function effectively. But where we do not get the power supply as we suppose, it will affect the functioning of the system. So inadequate electricity, and that is a major problem in Nigeria, inadequate electricity. Next one is high cost of spare parts. The spare parts of some of their equipment are imported from another countries. So high cost of spare parts, and even to get those spare parts, it will cost them more money to reinstall back. So that's another problem, high cost of spare parts. Next is lack of experts. When the machine stops functioning or is not functioning effectively again, it requires the service of the experts to repair those equipment. But where we do not have enough, or we do not have the experts around, so it will affect the machine, it will affect the equipment, and it will pose a problem to the system. So lack of experts or inadequate experts, because we don't have much of those experts that repair those equipment. So now, having looked at the reasons for reasons why the telecommunications systems in Nigeria are not functioning as supposed, here are the solutions to problems of telecommunications. These are the suggested solutions to problems of telecommunications. 1, telecommunication and electricity installations should be properly secured. Telecommunication and electricity installation should be properly secured. That means, we talked about vandalization of equipment. So where they are vandalizing the equipment, they require the service of the security to make sure the equipment is properly secured. So telecommunication and electricity installation should be properly secured. That's one of the solutions. Next one is more local experts should be trained to handle repairs and maintenance of the devices. More local experts should be trained to handle repairs and maintenance of the devices. In one of the problems, we talked about lack of experts. So when we have enough people that are trained on how to repair or maintain those devices, it will help us and it will cater for that problem where we have lack of experts. So we have more hands, more people that know how to repair or how to maintain those equipment. So that's the next solution. Let's look at another one. Manufacturing of spare parts should be encouraged locally. One of the problems we were told that high cost of spare parts. I told you that those spare parts, some needed to be imported from another country. So when we have the manufacturing companies producing those spare parts, it will help us and it will help us to stop that problem. So manufacturing of spare parts should be encouraged locally. So that's another solution. Next one is payment of electricity bills promptly. Although we talked about inadequate electricity or epileptic power supply, but at times some companies do not pay their electricity bills, and this will affect this regular supply of power. So when they pay promptly, so it will help and cater for that problems. So payment of electricity bill supply. Next one is regular maintenance of the telecommunication systems. For those devices to work effectively, it requires regular maintenance. So when they maintain those devices or their equipment, as at when due with experts, so it will help the device, the equipment to function and work effectively. So all these are suggested solutions to telecommunication system in Nigeria. It's time for evaluation. Now I have just 2 questions. The first question, list 4 communication service providers in Nigeria. List 4, I think that one should be very cheap. List 4 telecommunication service providers in Nigeria, 4 of them. And second question, state 3 reasons for inadequate functioning of telecommunication systems. 3 reasons for inadequate functioning of telecommunication systems. You have just 30 seconds to attempt this. Your time starts now. Eyes on me. Uncle Popo is here. I believe you are still there. So let's mark together. The first one, 4 telecommunication service providers in Nigeria. We have the Airtel, MTN, Globalcom, 9 Mobile. Good. No, all of you should get this. The second one, 3 reasons for inadequate functioning of telecommunication systems. We have discussed more than that, so N3, you are correct. Lack of maintenance, vandalization of equipment, inadequate electricity, high cost of spare parts. So all these 3 of them, and the other ones we have discussed, like the other ones we have discussed too, you are also very correct. Just 3 of them. So mark accordingly and rate yourself. We have come to the end of today's lesson. Until next time, next lesson, Uncle Popo says, keep on studying. Bye.
wonderful pupils. We have come to the end of another exciting episode on the classroom in your home.
An exciting one indeed it has been for us, and we hope that it has been exciting for you as well, because we enjoyed ourselves learning with you today. Now remember that for you to be perfect at what you do, then you need to keep practicing and practicing. And to this end, we have structured some online tests for you to help to sharpen your skills in mathematics, English studies, and general studies. You can have access to these tests using the link bit.ly/LASUBEB tests. The link again is bit.ly/LASUBEB tests. I want to encourage you to take these tests, because that's the only way we can access how you're performing, so that we can help you to improve on your performance.
Taking the online assessment or online test is based on if you have access to either your daddy's, your mommy's, your uncle's, or your auntie's Android or smartphones. If not, there's no problem. Just send your questions, your comments, and your assignment to 08150865663. Please do not call that line. SMS and WhatsApp messages only. And when you're sending in your assignment, make sure you indicate your name,
Your school,
Your class,
and your local government education authority. That is the only way by which we can identify you and appraise you accordingly.
Today's lessons and previous lessons are on LASUBEB YouTube channel for you to watch. Subscribe to LASUBEB YouTube channel to get notification when new videos are uploaded. The classroom in your home could be watched live on Facebook, the same time airing on television through the page showing on the screen.
Until our next lesson, when we shall meet again on another beautifully packaged edition on the classroom in your home, make sure you do your homework.
Wash your hands regularly.
keep practicing and working hard, but above all,
Stay safe.
At LASUBEB,
we
Leave no child behind.